What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Box. My name is Harry Hicks, and I'm joined with Max Botcher and Thomas McKeon.
How's it going?
What's going on,
guys? How are you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Pretty good. A little cold getting over here. I had to dodge some almost knee-deep puddles.
I know, we're getting a lot of snow. And speaking of the cold, Team USA playing in Minnesota and negative 30 wind chill tonight.
Ooh.
So,
Negative 30?
yeah, negative 30.
It seems like a health hazard or safety hazard.
It should be. I mean, it's. I know they said frostbite within 10, 20 minutes. So
Oh my God.
it's a
I've
crazy.
never watched a sporting event where players would seem to be in danger. It'd be actually interesting to see if if the players are like, hey, let's not do this. They come together with a little deal. That's just
that negative 30 with wind chill seems a little extreme. Doesn't seem like the
They should play at the Chicago Fire pitch dome.
In the bubble.
Yeah. Seriously, put a roof on it. Yeah,
Or play in Miami.
not Minnesota.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, speaking of Team USA, let's get right into things and talk about last week's match of the week. I don't think any of us scored any points on that. Tom, you might have predicted a tie.
Yeah.
Or no, we all predicted USA winning. USA.
Our patriotic duty.
Yeah, and they lost terribly.
Yeah.
In pretty pathetic fashion. 2-0 to Canada.
Terrible game.
Honestly, I was so frustrated watching this game because we're a more talented team. This is our most talented team ever.
Our lineup is
Ever.
sick.
We have players from the Premier League, Bundesliga, Weah from League One, Serie A, La Liga, literally every top 5 league, and we can't. Canada's a great team, but we tie against Jamaica, we lose against Panama. We have all these horrible games. This should not be happening.
What is that? Yeah, we can't score goals. It just seems the entire game they were just crossing into the box, and no one was actually in the box.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't seem like they had a plan once they reached the final third. It just seemed like, it just seems like they're trying to rely on their individual skills, and there's no actual plan to score once they get to the.
Yeah, I agree. I think the going forward is definitely the problem they have. Defensively, they're pretty good, or at least good enough. You know, they let in one goal just off a mistake, and then the second goal I wasn't too upset about either because they were pushing forward. So
yeah. Honestly, it was kind of, if I was a Canada fan, if I was born in Toronto or Saskatchewan, wherever Canadians are born, I'd be electric.
Oh my gosh,
awesome.
They were kind of going crazy.
They were going crazy because they punch their ticket, and they usually don't really make the World Cup.
They don't, yeah.
So they're probably having a good time.
That's but crazy. So then I think their problems going forward, like you were saying, Tommy, their crosses were pathetic. I don't think they had one good delivery other than that one corner. Pirsig to McKennie, where McKennie connected and almost scored. Great save from the goalie.
It was a great save.
But other than that, all the crosses were terrible. Pulisic crosses were terrible. They always did not get by the first defender.
Yeah,
he just needs to put a little leg into it.
Yeah, it seemed like he had dead legs and he couldn't even get it there.
Yeah, the keeper just picked up every ball just on the ground. The crosses were just rolling into him in the 6-yard box.
Keeper looked like he was
Manuel Neuer.
Huh?
Manuel Neuer?
Yeah.
No, he was some
he was that bald guy, right?
No, he was
He
playing
looked like he's a guy that shows up and
with his sweatpants on.
With his sweatpants. He's 40 years old, and he's like, you guys need a goalie?
Yeah, but then he was playing.
And he's intense. He's really intense. Yeah.
And they beat us probably with their best lineup without arguably their best player. Without Fonzie in Canada, but the problem I think is coaching and Berhalter. And I know a lot of the players, like McKennie, came out and said, we're playing scared. The Canadian players were the U.S. team is playing scared. We wouldn't do anything all game. And I feel like we're at a point now with the World Cup coming up this fall. It's too late to make any managerial changes. So we're kind of stuck with Berhalter until this World Cup. And then if we really don't do well, we make a change.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking about, because I do think he's the problem. Whatever, seems like a nice guy, but there's no team identity. You have all these young guys who should be kind of excited to be playing, and they all look excited individually. They're all great individually, but there's no team chemistry or anything like that. They don't play well together. They're not linking up passes.
Yeah.
And I think that's clearly the problem. And I think at the end of the day, that has to come down to coaching.
Yeah, I think the key that you said is identity. So Canada has their
Like,
identity.
What's the game
you
plan?
know?
I don't know what they do
Yeah,
out there.
Berhalter he's a very like stats guy. This guy scores a lot of goals. Like we can break through here possession wise, but he has like no emotion. There's like no emotion and there's no spirit in
Except
the team.
for when the ball comes to him on the sideline.
and
Behind
then
the back.
and then he does
Behind
like
the
weird
back.
stuff. Yeah, but he has like no emotion. None of the players are getting behind him, and so it's so frustrating to watch. And he's not getting the fans behind him.
The stats guy is the
either.
guy who whispers in the coach's ear. He's not the guy
Yeah.
leading the team.
Right. So
So I think, yeah, obviously he's maybe good on that end, but it doesn't seem like he's getting the team fired up or the country honestly fired up to see this team play.
Yeah, I feel like it's a mentality thing too. Like the U.S. against in like 2010 came into that World Cup trying to prove that the U.S. can compete in the World Cup, and we made the group stage, right? 2010,
2014
No,
Brazil.
Did we? No,
Yeah.
I thought it was 2010. That was the one I remember in South Africa. With
Yeah,
Landon
that
Donovan.
one. And they made
Yeah.
it. They lost to Ghana, I think.
Yeah,
maybe.
which was a very cool World Cup. But I feel like now we have a bunch of players that there's this expectation that we are good and we're supposed to be the top team of CONCACAF, and we don't have we should still have something to prove. And I feel like there's not this energy. There's not this chip on their shoulder to come in and prove that America should be a contender, not like a contender, but like at least like a contender to get to the group stage, a contender to go somewhat far in the World Cup, because with
the team they have, they
we
should be.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they have that energy to prove themselves.
And especially all these guys are so young. Like that's why I want, there's a team here for the next 5 or 6 years this can be the core. So I'd like something to change in there. But I think, like you said, Max, it's likely too late. I do think this most recent win was kind of the most, it drew the most attention to Berhalter's position.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's probably too late, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, we've been talking about it for a while now, like questioning Berhalter. Like,
Yeah.
he has those games where we just don't see the team perform well.
He just doesn't have a history. He came from the Columbus Crew, a team that didn't really do well in the MLS. He was just like the U.S. men's national team's choice of, this guy's a MLS guy. He's going to implement a system that we're going to kind of like, and that was just like an easy choice for them. But it was just unexciting, uninspiring. It's not a choice that's going to really make a splash in the World Cup, and hopefully we make it. Hopefully something happens, but I'm not too optimistic.
Well, we got this Honduras game right now. We're in a
6
watch
minutes
after this.
6 minutes. So yeah, we'll hopefully they do well there because they need
Hopefully
it.
they haven't canceled the game by the time we turn on.
We'll see.
Hopefully someone's not amputating their leg.
Oh my gosh. No, but
right,
it is hard to get a coach, like a international coach. They obviously probably want a U.S. coach, but there aren't many options, I feel like.
Right.
Like, who are you going to homegrown MLS coaches for the most part?
Jesse Marsh.
Jesse Marsh, available.
Yeah.
Fired. I feel like he needs to prove himself.
I know.
That's our homegrown coaching talent, and he just got fired from Red
Some
Bull.
Leipzig.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to this week's coming match of the week. This Sunday, I believe. Saturday or Sunday? I think it's Sunday. Athletico Madrid versus Barcelona. Atletico currently 4th with 35 points, I believe, and Barcelona 5th with 35 points. 34.
Yeah. I think one point,
I
one
said that wrong, but yeah. One point between them.
Yeah.
And Barcelona's made some pretty big moves in January with Aubameyang, Ferran Torres,
Traore.
Adama Traore. So those, I don't know if many of them will play. Ferran probably will. Maybe, honestly, I mean, there's a full week, so if they get to camp early, I know Aubameyang's not playing on the AFCON, so he should probably be available.
I think Ferran Torres has already played a game for them, so he should be available.
Yeah.
And I assume Adama will be there as well.
Yeah.
So I bet they'll all at least get on the pitch.
Yeah. That'll be exciting.
Yeah. Does anyone want to start with your predictions?
I can start. I think it's going to be difficult to predict like we said, just their squad that they're going to put out. So I'm going to go a lackadaisical 1-1. I think that's a safe pick. And I can see both of them getting a goal. Atletico's Atletico. I mean, they've been letting in more goals than they usually do, but I think a 1-1 is safe here for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think from Barcelona's perspective, I can see them only scoring one goal just because they're not very good offensively, or at least haven't been without this kind of new injection of players. I'm going 2-1 Atleti. Honestly, both teams have been relatively poor this year compared to how they have been over the past 10. And especially Atletico's defense has been unusually poor. But I do think the fact that they have a little bit more of a concrete team, they don't have all these new players coming in, which obviously can give some, new life into a team. But I do think they're pretty concrete, and I think that's going to help carry them over the line in this game particularly. I do think maybe if they were playing a month and a half or 2 months from now, it could be a little bit different. But I think for the time being, I think Luis Suarez is going to
bag a brace.
Yeah, bag a brace, get his redemption. He always likes proving a point. So
yeah, I still think Barcelona has a pretty good side, though. I'm gonna rant about them later in their business, their summer business. What is going on? And as in the third seat, I like to play the devil's advocate.
Oh, we're supposed to switch it up this time.
We're supposed to switch it up. I honestly didn't really think about this much, and I like being the guy, the wild card over here. I'm gonna say 2-1 Barcelona.
Okay.
No particular reason. I think they do have the ability to turn on in big games, because they are Barcelona, and they still have Depay, they still have Ansu Fati. They still have well. They have other players.
He's there.
He's there. He's on the bench. He has a great mentality. I'm just going for it. 2-1 Barcelona.
Yeah. All right.
That means someone's guaranteed a point this week.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's right now just 1-1 max.
1-1-0.
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
All right. Well,
that'll be a big one.
Yeah. So we'll move on to kind of our more main segment this week.
Yeah.
And we've all picked the January window has obviously just concluded. So we've all picked 2 transfers that we like and one that we don't. And we'll just kind of go through, and one at a time. We'll give out a name and we'll all kind of give our opinions. Would you like to start, Mr. McKeon? Give us a name.
Okay. My name, I'm going to throw out there. Do I have to start with one I like or one I don't like?
Doesn't matter.
All right. I'm going to start by ranting.
Hate on it either way.
Yeah, I'm going to start by ranting on Barcelona. Here's the story. You guys, did you guys see what happened with Aubameyang? Oh, I don't want to tread on you. I know
when he flew there and then said it was like, a family vacation.
A family vacation, and then really was like meeting with Barcelona. And Barcelona signed Ferran Torres earlier, and all right, their transfer window has been getting rid of Coutinho, going to Aston Villa, using that space, getting Ferran Torres, and then getting Adama Traore on a loan, and finally Aubameyang in the 11th hour. Technically not a part of the team yet, still a free agent technically, and going to has a promise to sign with Barcelona.
They have no wage space.
Ridiculous, absolutely insane.
They have to leave someone out of the team.
Someone on the team has to take a wage cut if he wants to play.
Yeah.
No, I heard that they're promising Aubameyang like as much as they can right now, which is like not that much. It's like probably like $50K a week compared to his like $200K a week at Arsenal. And then he's promised 18 months, and then next year they're gonna renegotiate and actually pay him for next year once Dembele's contract is done at the end of the season. Mm-hmm. But he's gonna be playing for like
even
a quarter of his salary.
Yeah, because I guess that's probably because they got rid of Coutinho, so they freed up that extra space. Because I know before that, Ferran Torres like technically wasn't on the team because they couldn't pay him.
Right.
But yeah, with Coutinho gone,
they got Ferran Torres. And what are they doing? All right, so
this team.
Well, there is so many avenues we can go down this because.
Like, so we're all in agreement. This is a bad transfer.
This is a bad transfer. I want to start.
Ferran
Torres.
Yes.
I'm saying Ferran Torres is also a bad transfer because they finally got rid of Coutinho, opened up some space to maybe revitalize their team. They need some depth at center mid. Pedri plays every game. They need some depth with the fact that they play Dani Alves and Jordi Alba still at fullbacks. And instead, with Depay, Dembele, Griezmann, Ansu Fati, they're playing this guy Jutgla.
Griezmann's Athletic now, right?
Is he? I don't even know what's going on. They still have like 4 or 5 wingers that can play. They don't need more wingers. They don't need more attackers. They need to rebuild their team smartly and intelligently, and that's through adding depth to their midfield, adding depth to their defense, and creating a team that can actually match other teams all over the pitch. And the fact that they need sensible transfers, and Ferran Torres, they paid
60
million, plus they're paying him $238,000 a week. Where you just got that's essentially the same as getting Coutinho off their books because they're
well. The thing is with Coutinho, it's only a loan to Aston Villa, and they're still paying Coutinho's majority of their salary. They're still paying for Coutinho, and he's not even on their team.
I think Villa's paying 65%. So that's what I saw. I'm not
okay.
And Coutinho's was like $400K.
Yeah,
so
he's getting
they got rid of like $240K a week in salary, and then they were like, Ferran Torres, here you go, which is just like restructure your team and build back smarter. Don't give it all to another attacker that didn't succeed at Man City, that doesn't deserve $240K, that doesn't deserve $60 million down the drain again. What are they doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's my whole thing is obviously they used to be great, obviously, and then they, lost Neymar pretty much and kind of started signing all these replacement attackers that never worked. Yeah. And yes, Coutinho and Ousmane Dembele being the most prominent or the most expensive of those options.
Malcolm.
And neither of them panned out. And they still have Dembele there. And so I was hoping, they got Xavi, they were going to kind of switch it around. Yeah. And I was hoping they would be like, okay, yeah, we have enough attackers. Let's focus on the rest of our team where we have no depth. But yeah, like you were saying, they redoubled their efforts. And I think that my biggest problem is, okay, I was like kind of behind Ferran Torres. I was like, okay, I can see that he's Spanish, he's young, he can kind of form with this new group of players. But the thing is, he's not proven to be a good player. It's still a risk.
Yeah.
And it was a risk, like Dembele and Coutinho were more sensible in the fact that they at least were kind of flopped once they got to Barcelona. Like Ferran Torres doesn't have a resume. Doesn't have a resume to like be great or to be worth this much money. So I think that's a problem. And then so I was like, okay, but maybe they're taking a risk. They want to have like a player to try to form this new team around. But then when they got Aubameyang, I'm like completely confused because they already have Depay. They already spent a lot of money on him over the summer. Like, what does Aubameyang add? Why do they need him? Mm-hmm. That's just like that. Simply for me, that's just another attacker, another expensive player, and are you forcing out Depay after 6 months?
Yeah, there's so many problems.
Like what? That doesn't make any sense.
So I think from Arsenal's perspective, letting Aubameyang leave, he's their most expensive player, so that's good that he's off of their wage bill. But this is like their fifth biggest player they've let go on a free.
Are you talking about Arsenal now?
Yeah, Aaron Ramsey
There's a lot
on
of
a free.
Here.
Okay. Aubameyang on a free. Also on a free. They've let over $200 million worth of players leave on a free. That's horrible business by them first. But Aubameyang going to Barcelona is so bad because it's a total misfit on the system that Xavi's trying to put in place. And Barcelona is a very small space tiki-taka type of game, possession game. And Aubameyang's biggest thing is open space and speed and counterattacking. And Xavi said 2 years ago, he said Aubameyang shouldn't go to Barcelona because he's great in open space, but that's not what Barcelona needs. 2 years later, he's on the team, and Xavi's coaching. That makes no sense. He's turning 33 this summer, so his speed is his greatest asset. He might be slowing down at 33.
Yeah.
It makes no sense, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. He is gonna. I saw today like his heat maps. He likes to drift wide. His heat maps. He likes to drift wide and receive in that space, right where like Depay would be. And they're like, if you want a central, basically Barcelona would want a false nine or a striker that has good aerial prowess, because right now they're just like crossing it in right now and hoping De Jong gets on top of it. But Aubameyang is neither of those. He's not a heading threat, really. He's tall, but he doesn't have like a history of scoring headers. He has a history of moving to open space and on counters, having nice like curling shots, kind of mid-range shots. And neither of those are what Barcelona needs. So I think he's gonna be a flop at Barcelona. And I think, it's very silly. And also the deal is good for Arsenal because they got him off their books, and he wasn't going to come back to the team. Honestly, it was like there's a lot of friction between him and Arteta.
Parties.
Yeah. Honestly, okay for Barcelona in terms of the fact they're paying him nothing to play for him.
Yeah.
And then he is setting himself up for failure. Why does he want to go to Barcelona where it's not a good fit, and he's getting promised basically pennies for half a season, and then one of the worst situations in world football, Barcelona are promising him that he'll get paid more for renegotiation next year. He's screwed. He's not gonna. I feel like they're gonna start the new year, and then they're gonna be like, sorry, we're buying.
It's not in the budget. Yeah, it's not in the budget. Well, similarly, I know we're just like bashing Barcelona right now, but
it's fun.
Barcelona wanted to get rid of Dembele this year, and I know their president said it's up to Xavi if Dembele is even going to play at all, like for the rest of the year. And I think Dembele is not going to be on the team next year. I assume Aubameyang is going to start now, and I don't know what the squad is going to look like. Maybe Torres, Aubameyang, Depay on the side, maybe, or Traore. I always wanted Traore to be like a wing back on the right.
Well, that's what he plays.
Right wing back. Oh, for Wolves?
Yeah.
For the most part. I thought he played right wing.
Well, no, because most of the time, at least under Nuno, when they,
it's
last
like
year,
a right mid.
he was playing
right
like right wing back.
I would love like a Ferran Torres and Adama Traore right under him. That'd be crazy.
That'd be cool. Des basically plays right wing back when he plays.
Yeah, the only problem with Adama is he never scores and never gets any assists.
That's why and he's huge. That's why defending would be perfect.
And that's why you need someone at the end of those crosses, and the answers wasn't what's his name?
Well, does
De Jong? It hasn't really been De Jong. He's been all right.
It's been PK.
It's been striker
PK. Let's move on. Yeah.
No more bashing Barcelona.
We hate Barcelona at box to box.
No, I want to talk about what I think is the coming from Barcelona. I think that's the best transfer of the window is Philippe Coutinho from Barcelona to Aston Villa. It is a loan, so that's obviously not permanent.
Yeah.
But I think that's my favorite signing of the window. I think Coutinho is like a phenomenal player. And where is he phenomenal? In the Premier League. Who is he phenomenal with? Steven Gerrard. And so I think it's like a perfect fit. And Villa need, they sold Grealish for 100 mil. Now they get Coutinho for a lot less than 100 mil to fill pretty much the same position. He plays kind of that left winger, kind of floating cam, nice perfect. Dribblers, gets a lot of fouls, takes long shots. Literally what Grealish did for a fraction of the price.
I strongly disagree.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. I think it's for Aston Villa, that is one of the dumbest transfers ever.
How?
They got him for half a year. They're paying him his salary. They're paying 65% of his salary, $250,000 a week for half a year of Coutinho when they're in 11th in the Premier League. So they're just basically throwing away $12 million because he's not helping him get a place in the Champions League or Europa League. If there's an option to buy, it's going to be expensive. It's like someone came to Gerrard and was like, this will be a good idea. You can get Coutinho. That'd be a good idea. And Barcelona gets one of their most expensive players that isn't producing off their books to Aston Villa, who's going to Like why?
They're not going to be able to
There's no
purchase
long term.
them, I think,
Yeah,
is
there's
their
no.
biggest thing because it's 45 to 50 mil.
Yeah,
But they have the money. They can.
I think they said they don't have the money to pay him, to get him like full time, because they also have to pay the salary, and I think he would be requesting a lot of money.
Okay, well, I feel like they would have the money, didn't they? Like after Grealish,
they did, yeah. But
so I guess
I know.
I'm assuming they have the money to buy him, unless there's like some backdoor debt that they don't,
Yeah.
which could be. I don't know. Honestly, that could be. But I think, to your point, Thomas, I think it's a good sign. It's kind of like we think of Jesse Lingard coming in January to West Ham last year, and like, okay, that was great, but it only was 6 months, and then kind of leaves him out. I do think this is a little different because I guess I'm under the impression, that they are or would like to buy him after this is up. And I think if it's 40 million, I think that's still a good deal for Philippe Coutinho.
Is there an option to buy though?
Yeah, there is.
There is an
It's
option?
45 mil.
Okay.
Which is a steal. I mean, that's a third of the price Barcelona paid for him.
A third of the price, and also like if this is obviously all dependent on if he's good or not. If he, obviously he was a flop at Barcelona, so if he doesn't work at Villa, then obviously that's bad. But I think the potential he has with Villa, with the Premier League, is phenomenal. When he was playing with Liverpool, he was one of the best players, if not the best player in the league. And if you can get him back there while he still has, how old is he? Like 28 or something?
I think he's 29.
So that's not like that old. He still has probably 4 or 5 years left in him. If you can get Philippe Coutinho in your team for 45 million,
great.
that's like, I think that's phenomenal business.
He's very technical.
You're in, whatever, we're in 11th place right now.
Yeah.
But Villa should be so much better. That's why they fired Dean Smith. And so they want to build this project under Gerrard. They want to give him Luca Digne. They want to give him Coutinho so he can build this team, because honestly, they should be fighting for that 6th place position
in the beginning of the season. That's why I thought they were going to be. I thought they had a stronger team than like something like West Ham. Honestly, like they had a comparable team with a lot of like young talent. But they're not there this year, and like the option to buy, yes, that makes sense. But that's still 45 million, and then you have to pay him. He's gonna ask for 250k a week, probably 200k a week, and because if he does well in the Premier League, other teams will look at that and be like, okay, then we will pay you more, and so not only do they have to pay that buyout clause of 45 million, they also have to negotiate with Coutinho and pay him a decent amount. And I feel like where Aston Villa, like they aren't a rich club, if they're a pretty rich club comparatively to like the Europe in general, but compared to the top 6, the top like with West Ham and Leicester and now Newcastle.
Well, they're probably the same as like West Ham and Leicester.
They're probably similar.
If not, I bet they have more money than Leicester.
I don't think that's the best use of the money on a big splash signing of Coutinho. I think that money would be better spent on that. Like they have Buendia, they have Danny Ings, Ollie Watkins, Bertrand Traore, and I don't know, Trezeguet.
Bailey. No, okay, so I think the thing is it's a risk, right? We don't know if he's going to be great. I think if he is, it's worth it, and I think it's worth splashing in on a marquee player like that, because they're a club who should be similar to West Ham, where they're kind of fighting. West Ham has a shot at 4th place this year, a very serious shot, and I think Villa sees that as an opportunity. They see that, okay, United haven't been that great this year. Tottenham, they have a lot of like games in hand, but they're still down the table a little bit. Arsenal as well. I think they got to see that as a potential, and Villa's a big club, and I think they see that as an opportunity. They see Gerrard as kind of like a new wave. And so I guess my impression of that all is that they're kind of, with the addition of Philippe Coutinho, they're kind of trying to double down and catch up to these teams so they're not in 11th place. And so it is a risk, and they could be losing out a lot of money. They are going to disrupt their wage structure. I think with all that being said, if it works out and if he is successful and he does play to his potential or somewhere near it, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, it's a good defense. He has been playing well too. He scored a screamer.
One game.
He scored a screamer for Brazil yesterday too.
I
think you have to think about I don't want to keep on talking about him, but I think you have to think about him. Like when you are Aston Villa, you are trying to get to the point where you are a West Ham competing for that Champions League spot, and you have to see Coutinho. Is he the player that will take you there, or and if he does, that's a great investment because he takes you to that level, and then you start gaining revenue from Champions League. You start. It's all about. It's kind of all about profit in the end of like. Getting more revenue in terms of commercial revenue and broadcast revenue from Champions League games. And in my opinion, I don't think that's the best route. I feel like they're still a few years off of building a squad that would compete for Europa. And this is kind of just like a mad dash for like a Europa League spot that I don't think they have the strength to get to with Coutinho.
Yeah, I know. I can see that. I don't like this year. I think it's no. Yeah, I mean, it is built on a lot of ifs.
Yeah.
If they can buy him for $45 million, if he plays well, I think it's contingent on all those. So that is a fair point.
Let me tell you guys what the best signing is in my book.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna
Juventus
destroy it again.
Thomas and I are ready to just destroy
Juventus
this.
signing Vlahovic. You guys don't like Vlahovic?
No, I think that's so stupid.
Why is that stupid?
I
want to hear you guys first. Why is it stupid?
You go first. You go first. Tell us.
You just came in with so much enthusiasm. You gotta have some.
Juve scores no goals. Out of the top 9 teams in Serie A, they have the least amount of goals scored. 34 goals this year. I mean, Inter has 53 in first place. They've scored 20 more goals almost. Vlahovic has 17 goals. That's half of the amount that Juve scored. Juve has no goal scorers. Dybala is supposed to be that guy, and he's not scoring goals. This is the obvious person. And 90 mil, yeah, they're in a similar position that Barcelona's in, where they don't have that much money, but they're able to afford Vlahovic, and he's going to be their goal striker. He's perfect.
For those listening at home, Max is currently wearing a Juventus jersey to support this. This take.
The man.
Okay, so I think he's a good player. I think he can be a marquee player. I think he can score 20, 25 goals in a season. You know, he's on track to do that right now. But Juventus's problem is not their striker. Obviously, like Morata isn't great, and Dybala is a little bit more of a cam. But it's not. It's their midfield. They have no like chance creation. They don't get the ball up the field. They don't control it. They don't get it into a place where Vlahovic could score the ball, could score a goal. And so I think that's the main problem. That's why I don't think this makes sense. I think they should have re-upped their midfield. You know, so they get rid of McKennie. They got rid of Aaron Ramsey. They got Zakaria, who I think is a good player, but he's not really a chance creator either. He's more defensive. So they have zero like creativity in their midfield to get the ball to Vlahovic. And so, yeah, he can score the goal. He can put the finishing touch on it. But I think the problem with Juve is that they can't get it to that place. And so I think he can be really good if they, over the summer, put a little bit more money into that or kind of re-up their structure. But as of like right now, you know, Max Allegri, when Juve were going to the Champions League final in 2015 or 2016, it was because their midfield was dominating games. And they don't have that right now. And I think that's the problem with Juve these days. And I think that's the problem why Allegri's not really working out. And so I think Vlahovic could be that guy to bring it to the next level, but it's the wrong time, wrong fit for me. And that's why I don't think it's a great signing. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I agree that their problem is definitely the midfield. Like it's kind of just like a weak midfield at this point. It's like Rabiot and Bentancur's gone, and it's, what is it, McKennie and
got rid of Ramsey as
Rabiot
well.
now.
Yeah, I like Ramsey to Rangers. That's kind of
that makes sense. It's just like
it works.
I think he could be great. He scored 17 goals this season.
Yeah, he's bound to score.
He's bound to score, and that's what Juventus need. Yes. I saw that Fiorentina's second highest goal scorer, 4, their left back. Insane. He's just like carrying them.
No, yeah,
and it's all him. I do believe he has the skills.
I mean, that's my argument too. Is still, I think he's going to perform well at Juve because Juve's midfield is still better than Fiorentina's.
Right.
At the end of the day, and so he's still going to get those chances, and he's he's honestly, when you see him play, he's a creator himself. He's like literally he plays like a left-footed Lewandowski, and he
does drop in really well.
He is so good. He can make passes. He's quick for being so tall, and honestly, like he is on par. Like we're so distracted by how good Haaland is, and Haaland is like a generational player. But at 21, he tied Ronaldo's goals in a year for like 33. He's playing incredible, and he's not even playing at like a top club or anything.
I do like. I mean, I guess no. That was a good point, Max. And I am thinking about it. You know, Chelsea were playing Juventus a while ago, and I was like, okay, I'm not worried at all because they have no threat. Mm-hmm. If I was to play that, or if Chelsea were to play Juventus, you know, next week where they had Vlahovic, I would be like, oh shoot, I don't want him to get the ball. So that is, I think that, you know, it is a good fear factor. He's going to score goals. He's going to, you know, probably get them into the Champions League spots, or at least finish there. But I don't think that's where their main problem is I think my frustration with the deal is because I'm like, they could have put that money and built a team rather than just have one really good player. Mm-hmm. But if it works, it works. You know?
And I think that's coming too. I think De Ligt is going to get sold this summer, and there's going to be some major overhaul with the defense too and midfield. Obviously, they got rid of some players right now, but when you can get a striker like that, I think it's perfect.
I will say that what they're paying him, they're paying $90 million to Fiorentina, and they're paying him $200K a week, which is the second most behind Dybala, which is at like $290 a week. He has to perform. He has to be.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that though. I mean, I think he'll score.
Yeah, but he has to be incredible. He can't be anything less than incredible to justify that amount of cash. I do like. Yes, Juventus does have the reserves to kind of blow money and like try to get the best players. But we see with Barcelona that even these large clubs need to spend sensibly and spend on the right player. I think Vlahovic does have, based on his past few years, does have that. It does look like he could be that guy, but anything less than incredible, I would say it's not worth that money.
Yeah.
I think for me, if it's a good deal or not is more contingent on like the length of his time there. He's pretty young, so if they can get him for, you know,
he's there for 5 years.
Yeah, if they can get him there for the full 5 years, or maybe re-sign a contract, you know, a 2-year extension or something.
Right.
If they can get him there, like Dybala has been there for, you know, most of his career. If they can have him be kind of a player that's there for a long time, that's worth a $90 million price tag. If they're gonna sell him in 2 years for $100 million or something like that, that's not worth it.
Yeah.
I don't think, because that also means he failed or he didn't do what needed to be done.
Right.
Yeah, I think when we talk about these, like there's good transfers in terms of like transfers that make sense, but also in terms of this deal, we have to think about like who won the deal. You know, did Juventus win the deal or did Fiorentina win the deal?
I think it's a win-win. Honestly.
I think it's a win-win. I could see that.
Yeah, that's it.
Because Fiorentina, his contract's up in 18 months. This is the perfect time to sell him.
Yeah.
Because if they wait until this summer and he's not picked up, they risk him leaving on a free.
Yeah.
Which would be horrible.
Oh yeah.
So they get the 90 mil now, and Juve gets their striker that they desperately need.
The only true loser is the Fiorentina fans who have had Vlahovic and Chiesa stolen from them within a year by Juventus.
and Quadrado and all those Juve. There's like 5 or 6 Juve players that were on Fiorentina.
It's rough.
Bonucci, I think at one point.
If you don't mind me transitioning to the player they picked up, which is Icone from Lyon or Lille.
Lille, I think.
I think it's Lille. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of went back and forth on this deal because I do think Icone is one of the better players, better younger players I've seen in terms of just like flashiness and skill.
Like all around.
Yeah. He's speedy.
General attacker.
He's speedy. He's
shifty.
Shifty. Yeah. If you couldn't tell, listeners. I think it's a good reinvestment of the $90 million really quickly into a player that has proven himself to be able to play in the top level at Lille. And it's just like he's 21 years old, and I think he's gonna be at least a star, maybe not a star, but at least one of the top players in Europe in a few years' time. The problem is Vlahovic is gone, and they need for a player like Ikone or the wingers at Fiorentina to look good and appreciate in value in order to be sold at a higher amount later on, or just like get Fiorentina to one of those Europa League or Champions League spots. They need a striker at the end of their creation. And yes, I think it's a good deal to get Ikone on. I think it was not that much. It was probably like 30 or 40 million.
It's less than that, I feel like.
Yeah, it might even be 20 million, which is great. They need someone, they need a striker, and they got this guy, Piatek from Hertha. Yeah. And I looked at, he doesn't look good. He hasn't scored that much last year.
I mean, he was supposed to be great when he was at AC Milan. But.
Yeah, it was years ago, and now he's like 26, and a career that didn't pan out. I don't see Fiorentina scoring that many goals.
Well, okay, I think the reason I don't think this is a bad transfer, I think it's not a very exciting transfer. It's just good business for Fiorentina.
Yeah.
They just bombed out and made so much money off of Kies over the summer, over Vlahovic right now, and I think they're fine with that. I don't think they're too upset about taking a cut and only having Jonathan Ikone.
Yeah. And Ikone has played some striker too.
I think that's kind of what their goal is, and they could, with the amount of money that they are getting from these players, they could turn around and have a huge team or make a big signing, but I don't think that's their objective, honestly. I think they're fine kind of farming out these players and selling them for boatloads of cash and not reinvesting it to its extent.
Yeah. I honestly...
Which isn't exciting, but you think of Dortmund selling these players, they don't really fully reinvest it into their club.
That's true.
I think that's just kind of, they're content with that. That's why I'm like, okay, yeah.
Every couple years they go for the everything, and then they have 2 or 3 years of rebuilding, getting all these players.
And players like Ikone is the rebuild, where they have this young player, they get him for relatively cheap, and then they become stars. And I think Ikone has that ability. So I agree, it's a good transfer. I think it would be beneficial for them to put at least a decent striker in that forward position in order to complement these a player like Ikone. If they are a selling club, they need to make Ikone look good.
For Ikone though, I feel like it's a downgrade because he's going from
that's what I think it's weird for Ikone.
It is a little weird,
and I think
Lille's conceding.
And
Ikone
is not playing that well this year.
Yeah, he doesn't.
And so maybe he's doing it just because he needs a change. But it is a little odd that he's going to Fiorentina or something like that. And I mean, he's a French player. I don't even know if he's been called up at all for recent France games.
Well, also Lille are in 11th place right now. They're they sold almost everyone from their team last year. So I think that's a good chance for him to get out of there. Honestly,
yeah,
he's not going to a star club, but at least
the potential's
they're not bad.
Though. Yeah,
he can continue his career and try to get another. I don't know.
Yeah,
for me, this is kind of this transfer is all right.
5 out of 10, Tommy.
All right.
Okay.
I guess I'm not thrilled about it, but I guess I could see it. It's not.
That's what it jumped out at me, and the more I looked into it, I was like, yeah.
Ikone is a great card in FIFA. And
he is a great card in FIFA.
All right, let's talk Everton.
Oh yeah, they have a lot of shit.
Everton, they.
I'll bleep that out of the YouTube for kids.
Okay. So Everton, they have just brought in Frank Lampard, who I'm excited that he is back in the Premier League. But for his career, I don't think it's a good move. Everton, similar to Chelsea, kind of run through their managers. Think of whatever. In the past year, they've had 3. This is their 3rd manager in the past year. That's not a situation I would want to walk into as a manager.
That's tough.
And I think that's kind of what he did going into Chelsea, but he knew he at least had a year of backup security because they had that whatever transfer ban. Him going into Everton, I'm like, dude, you're going to get fired within a year and a half. And then you have, I don't know. For him, and the thing is, he's like a project manager. He builds from this youth talent. He wants to kind of form his new team and to a certain extent move all these older players out, which causes a lot of like drama in the dressing room. Think about how Jorginho, Rudiger, Kovacic, none of them were playing under Lampard, and they were all getting mad. And so for me, for Everton, who has a lot of these older players, it doesn't really seem like a nice fit. And it frustrates me because I want Lampard to succeed. And honestly, I want Everton to do a little bit better. I think it's exciting with the players they do have in their team, and I think they could be a lot better than they are. I love the signing of Donny van de Beek, but I'm nervous for Lampard. I'm nervous for Lampard just because I'm like, what is, for him it seems like he's lining up for failure.
I'd call him brave for doing that.
Oh no, I mean he could be brave.
Yeah,
and
it is, but like brave because it's a daunting task.
Well, think of him walking into Chelsea. That was very brave.
Yeah, it was very brave, and now he's going into a side that looks
relegation.
Going towards relegation.
Yeah, they're going to bottom 5 thing. I mean, Donny is an interesting one because it's basically having a Champions League level center mid that you're going to have for relegation battle for the rest of the season, which is interesting.
Well, I mean, they don't want to be relegated. They can afford to do that.
Yeah, and they got him for $750,000, which is nothing. That's peanuts. But there's also no buy clause, so it's Donny's most likely not going to be on Everton next year, and he's most likely not going to be on United either.
Well, yeah, but so for him, like.
For him, it's great.
No, I think that's a win across the board. I think it gets. So I think Lampard is like whatever. I'm not pleased about that earlier. Just a little bit apprehensive. For the Van de Beek deal, I think that's a win across the board because United gets him out of their club pretty much. He's not playing there. He's not going to play there. Mm-hmm. So they don't really want him. For Everton, they're not spending that much, and they do not want to be relegated. So it's good that they're getting a Champions League level player in a relegation battle because for like the fact that they can get him and he's willing to go there is good because then hopefully the aim is that they won't be relegated. That saves them millions of dollars. And for Van de Beek, he gets on the field, he gets to show that he's still a quality player, and he gets to get another contract somewhere else, probably out of England next year.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is what he wants to. He doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to be sitting on the bench anymore. So I think it's like a win across the board.
Yeah, honestly, that's true. I like that one.
USA.
I just thought to look up the score. We're up 1-0. McKennie 8th minute goal.
Let's go.
All right, sorry.
Big West.
No, I agree that's a
good one.
Yeah, it's a good transfer. Good
I think that's clean across the board, and I'm so excited to be able to like watch Donny van de Beek finally play.
Yeah. From what I saw,
such an exciting player.
Yeah, I only see him off the bench from Man U sometimes, and when he comes on, he's great. He's like he's an 8, and that like comes up and tries to score goals.
He's perfect for Lampard. He loves the kind of the floating 8, the attacking 8. That's just what Van de Beek is. Van de Beek is pretty decent defensively.
Yeah,
but he's very creative, and that seems like a perfect fit for Lampard.
Would it be fair to say he's a box-to-box player?
Count it. Write that down.
Okay. No, I don't, because he's not. That's like Conte's box-to-box.
Yeah, Conte's box-to-box. Yeah, good.
All right.
Can I say this last one?
Yeah,
Gosens. Gosens is my other one.
I want to talk about
Obo
Gosens.
was my first one that we slaughtered. But
we murdered.
Gosens is, I feel like, a sleeper, and no one's really talked about him because he's been hurt for majority of the year.
Yeah.
Is that a loan or a?
It's a loan, but an option to buy.
But is he still in? That's when I was confused. So I'm like, this guy is hurt. Why are they loaning him in January?
So he's gonna be back to practice and training in the next 2 weeks is the assumption, and it was a hamstring injury.
So we'll get on the field in a month.
But it's an 18-month loan.
Okay,
so it's not until this summer.
Wait, it's 18-month loan. I looked at, but there's this like clause that it's an option to buy next year as soon as he scores a goal.
As soon as Inter scores.
Inter scores or
as
him?
As soon as Inter scores.
Oh, okay. I thought it was him. So
which is an odd thing that they put in the
very
clause,
odd.
But as soon as Inter scores a goal in the next season, they can buy him.
They have to buy him, I think.
I think it's still an option, Tom. But either
I thought like transfer market is like saying it's a transfer, like it's a loan, and then next year he's gonna transfer to.
Strange either way.
I think the assumption is they're gonna buy him because he's great.
Yeah.
He's so versatile, even for Germany. Like he's up top. He's playing winger. He's playing left back. He's playing wing back. in the last 2 years, so not counting this year, 20 goals and 14 assists as a defender for the most part.
Yeah, like
and we
wing
talk
back.
about Teo Hernandez, like his numbers are incredible. And he's going from Atalanta to Inter, so they're poaching. They're poaching a player from one of their biggest rivals, top 4 team. So it's killing 2 birds with 1 stone, really.
Honestly, for this transfer, I think it like makes perfect sense. The only like weird thing about it is the fact that Atalanta had Gosens and Joachim Mailer, and they could not get either of them to play on the right. So they had 2 like top level perfect left wing backs in a in a wing back system.
Yeah.
And they couldn't figure out a way to get them both in the team. So they just had them both. One of them was just on the bench, which was like the strangest part, that they had those 2 players playing the same position
That's probably
at all.
why they were in a
just strange.
bad situation. Like, if you look at this transfer, Inter is getting a steal. They're getting Gosens, who's a Germany international, who scores 14 goals last year as a left wing back, and they're gonna, the option to buy is $25 million, and they're going to pay him like $90K a week, which is nothing. Compared to like the other deals we're talking about.
Our wages.
It's him and Perisic on the left side is ruthless, honestly.
Yeah.
And
they have Perisic. And
Perisic can play on the right side too.
Yeah, and he's getting a little older, and I think Gosens is a perfect
he's 27
player for that system. It's a five across, essentially 5 across the middle system, 5 in the back, 5 like with those wing backs. That's a perfect place for him to be, and a perfect step for his career. And good job, Inter.
I love the business.
It's great for him. Yeah. That's a great for him. He must be thrilled.
A little rough for Atalanta. Only give him $25
million.
million.
They're losing
loss.
out. I think part of it is the fact that he's hurt right now. Doesn't help. The fact that he's been hurt for a while, like a couple months.
Yeah,
4 months maybe.
Since September.
I think he re-aggravated it too.
He's a little injury prone.
Yeah.
But no, it's great business for Inter. Good business for him. Good business for Germany.
Yeah, German international. It's always good to see.
All right, last but not least, Tom, you got
Guimaraes.
Bruno to Newcastle.
This is just good business, okay? Just like, yes. Like, you're getting Guimaraes, I looked up, he is in the 98th percentile for both progressive passing and progressive carries. He's a defensive midfielder that can just like get the ball upfield. And if you look at his highlights, he is crazy. He's just like a burst of he just bursts forward, either passing or dribbling, and they're in the final third. It's crazy to watch, and they're getting him for $40 million. And from what I've seen, what I've heard, he seems like a top talent, and he is 24 years old, proven in Liga, top 5 league, and it's $40 million. That's just good business. Just good business, okay?
It's good business by both teams, because
I think it's great by Lyon.
Lyon, that's more than 2 times what they paid for him.
Yeah,
I think a year or 2 ago.
And they just got Ndombele.
And they just
That's
sold
right
him
in.
for $45 million. Perfect.
Yeah, I think it's good. My one qualm with this is
qualms.
I love qualms.
Is he taking over John Joe Shelby's position at Newcastle?
Yeah, he's gonna.
What's your take on that, Mr.?
It's gonna be a battle. And I think what I think it is. They're bringing in Guimaraes, and John Joe Shelby might just turn it on and become one of the best players ever.
Potential.
Because he is an anomaly. He is John Joe Shelby, and if you give him the chance, and if you challenge him, he'll rise to that challenge. So I'm thinking next year John Joe Shelby scores 30.
Shut up. We're out of time.
Defensive player of the year, scores 30. He's just all over the pitch.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
we're out of time.
No, that's my last topic. So I think that does it for this week.
Oh yeah.
Well,
anything else?
Yeah, we could talk about Chelsea and Bayern, but
and
they didn't make any signings. It's international window.
Bayern plays Leipzig this weekend. That's a big
Chelsea
one.
plays Plymouth
Argyle
in the FA Cup. So
I played a career mode with Plymouth Argyle. I think I got them only to like the championship.
What's that budget like?
Rough. I think I got
a couple $100,000.
I think I got like Scott McTominay when he was like 18 years old, and that was my big signing.
Oh my gosh.
Big muffin. Alrighty. Well, thank you all very much for listening. Make sure to check us out on all these different platforms we echo these
We're
days.
everywhere.
And thank you all for listening. So see you next week.
Peace,
Peace out,
boxers.
boxers.